Hi guys, I'm Samina, and today on the Cupcake Confession, I'm showing you how to make the most incredible flourless chocolate cake. And no, you don't need to use almond meal or any other kinds of nut flour to make this. It's very easy. Let's begin. You'll first preheat your oven to 180 degrees Celsius. Here in a bowl, I have some bittersweet chocolate galettes. They have 55% cocoa content, and into this, I've also added some butter. They are both at room temperature. I've used salted butter. You can use unsalted butter and add some salt later on. Now I'm going to pop this in the microwave at 10-second intervals to help melt the butter and chocolate together. You can also use a double boiler. Place a heat-proof glass bowl on top of a saucepan containing some simmering water to help gently melt the chocolate and butter. I really love using the microwave as it's very quick and efficient. And the 10-second intervals help us ensure that we are not heating the chocolate or overheating the chocolate, and gently melting it till it becomes a glossy looking mix like this. That is perfect. Now I will transfer this into a larger glass bowl because this is the bowl in which our ultimate flourless chocolate cake batter will come together. You can see how shiny and glossy this chocolate is. You can also use a 70% dark chocolate if you wish. I just couldn't find it, so I used what I had. Into this, I'm also going to sift some cocoa powder and add some instant coffee powder in there as well. The reason for sifting the cocoa powder is because you'll notice that the cocoa powder naturally has quite a few lumpy bits in there, and so sifting it ensures that the cocoa powder is nice and lump free in this mix here. Now I'll use my whisk and just combine it until the cocoa powder is not visible and it has mixed really well with the melted chocolate and butter mix. That is looking great, and now it's time for us to add eggs in here. So I'll be separating 5 eggs, and I'll be taking the whites in this clean bowl right here. I love using my hands to separate the eggs. They are just so fuss free and easy. Always make sure that you're using clean hands, and I like to separate the whites in a nice clean bowl and plop the yolks in the chocolate mix. It is very important that the bowl you're using to collect the egg whites is free from any greasy bits, otherwise the whites will not whip up to a stiff peak consistency. And also ensure that it doesn't have any water in it as well, because water and fats will really mess with the whipping of the egg whites. After you've separated the egg yolks and the whites, keep the whites away for a bit and just mix the yolks into the chocolate mix. You can also add some vanilla extract at this stage here if you wish to. I chose to skip it because it really doesn't make that much of a difference. Now that we've mixed the yolks in, I'll keep that aside and we'll start working on our egg whites. I'll sprinkle the tiniest amount of sea salt there, which helps stabilize the foam. And first I'll start with my electric beaters on the lowest speed setting for 3 minutes. You'll notice at the end of 3 minutes it goes really foamy like this, but the foam isn't stabilized because we still need to add some sugar. So now what we'll do is we'll add sugar. Now normally people would add caster sugar, but I wanted to make a brown sugar meringue just to help add more fudginess to our flourless chocolate cake, thanks to the molasses content in the brown sugar. So I'll add a couple of spoonfuls of the light brown sugar, and then with my electric beaters on a medium speed, I'll start mixing this for the next 3 minutes. So we started off with a low speed for 3 minutes, then we increased the speed to medium for 3 minutes, and during this 3-minute duration, after every couple of seconds, we'll start adding in the light brown sugar in small batches until all of the light brown sugar has been added to the meringue. And by the time the next 3 minutes are up, all of the light brown sugar will have been added into this meringue mix. Once you've added all of the light brown sugar and the 3 minutes are up, you will increase the speed to high and mix this for a further 3 minutes. So you will be mixing this for a total of 9 minutes to reach stiff peaks like this. Now you'll take a little bit of that brown sugar meringue and add it to the chocolate mix. And you won't fold it at this stage. You'll take the whisk and just mix it in. Because the chocolate batter is pretty stiff at this point, you will not be able to fold it, and that is the reason why you introduce a little bit of the brown sugar meringue to loosen up this chocolate cake batter. You can see that it has loosened up quite a bit, and now it is the right consistency for us to fold the rest of the brown sugar egg white meringue that we made into this flourless chocolate cake mix. So all of the leavening is provided by the yolks in the chocolate and the stiff meringue that we just whipped using the brown sugar and the egg whites. You'll notice that we haven't added any kind of nut flour, oat flour, any kind of gluten-free flour. You absolutely do not need it. Just gently fold in the egg whites, making sure that there are no white streaks visible, and also make sure that you're not overworking this cake batter, as you don't want that air that you created with the egg whites to be knocked out. Here I have an 8-inch loose bottom cake tin that I have greased really well and lined the bottom with parchment paper, and I'm going to add all of my flourless chocolate cake batter into this cake tin, and using my spatula I'm just going to spread it around so that the cake batter is leveled off and is even. This will now go in the oven at 180 degrees Celsius for about 28 to 30 minutes. My cake is out of the oven and I'm going to insert a toothpick in the center, and you'll notice that it comes out clean with just the tiniest amount of chocolate in there. And as it continues to sit at room temperature, the residual heat continues to cook it. You'll see that the dome-like structure of the flourless chocolate cake starts to sink, and it gets that beautiful personality of its own. And I love that crackly little top that you get when you cut into this flourless chocolate cake. The cake decides where it wants to crack, and that is what I believe gives it its own personality. You're going to place this on a tall glass and gently unmold the cake like this. This is the most epic flourless chocolate cake. The brown sugar meringue adds more fudginess and chewiness. The meringue-like top is really nice and crisp, while the inside is gooey and fudgy and moist. It melts in your mouth. As a final finishing touch, you'll dust the top with some cocoa powder. And then it's just time to slice into this epic flourless chocolate cake. You can see as you slice into it, the meringue-like top cracks beautifully, and it gives you that crisp, crackly texture, while the inside remains really moist and gooey and fudgy. This is what it looks like. It absolutely melts in your mouth. You can serve this with a scoop of ice cream. What I have done here is I have taken some whipped cream and I've added a generous dollop of it on my cake slice, and then I'm also going to top it with a half berry. And our flourless chocolate cake is ready. This is truly an indulgent treat, and you saw just how easy it was to put it together. It's a perfect dinner party dessert, as you don't need to do a lot of work to put it together. Look how moist and decadent that looks. It absolutely melts in your mouth. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up, subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon so you're notified every time I post a new video. Do let me know your thoughts on this recipe in the comments below. I'll see you in another baking video. Until then, goodbye and happy baking.